Hello friends, my name is Leigh and I create videos about photography as an art and as a lifestyle. Today I am going to be answering your questions. I asked for questions on social media earlier this week, and I am also, while I answer them, going to be building this Lego set. This is the Polaroid One-Step SX70 Lego set. I've had it for months and I am very excited to finally be building it. So first, I'm going to make a little bit of headway on this Lego build. You will be able to enjoy it through the 3 cameras that I have set up. I may as well tell you what those are real quick. I am using the Lumix S5 II in front of me. It has the Sigma 65mm f2 DGD and contemporary lens on it. This view is the Lumix S5 II and the 24 to 105mm f4 macro lens. And then this view is the Lumix S5 and the 20 to 60mm 3.5 to 5.6 lens. Okay, now that I've gotten one little part done, so cute. Hello. Let's do a question. First question is from Joe on YouTube. And Joe has asked, what do you think of the TTArtisan 75mm f1.5 lens? I haven't used that lens. I have used other TTArtisan lenses and I've always been happy with them. And I have also used lenses kind of similar to that lens. So the bokeh, it almost creates kind of a halo around your subject because the bokeh is elongated in a circular format. So it just creates an interesting effect. I do have this TTArtisan 100mm f2.8 lens, which I have used before for portraits. And then I've used a whole bunch of different lens baby lenses. They're all similar to, the idea or the intention of that TTArtisan lens in that it's just to give you some different creative effects. And I think that that is so cool. And anything that you can do to inspire yourself, and get yourself out with your camera, I just think is great. So I am comfortable enough saying that TTArtisan lenses have never let me down. Let's answer the next question from CL Audio, who says, what about the GFX system? Are you still working with it? And if so, what is your opinion about medium format? Okay, so the Fujifilm GFX system, I have used a couple of times. I've used a couple of different GFX cameras, most recently, the GFX 100S2. Saying I loved it is probably putting it mildly. I really bonded with that camera, and if money were no object, I would own it. The first GFX camera I used was the original GFX 100, and it was just it was a bulky body. I didn't fall in love with it in the same way. But this time I did. It's a smaller body, and the lenses I used all prime lenses, and the prime lenses they're not exactly compact, but they are relatively lightweight. The whole system was just smaller and more compact and lighter weight than I expected it to be when I had requested to use it. So yeah, anyway, I love it. I will use more of it. I will request more on loan. I'm not ruling out the possibility of purchasing it. It's just, man, there's so many good cameras out there right now that it's tough to choose something. You know what I mean? I have a question for you. What's your process with Lego building? Do you do what I do, where I gather together all of the pieces for the current step that I'm working on, and then I do that step? Or do you kind of more willy-nilly choose pieces and put them on as you go? Yeah, let me know down in the comments what your process is, because I like to gather my pieces together for each step, and Raymond doesn't really do that. He more just dumps the bag out and starts building, and I like to be a little more organized. Okay, let's answer a question from Malvo C. Jupiter on YouTube. Glad you are better now. Thank you. They're referring to I was really sick last week, and I'm definitely getting better now. I'm just still not 100%. I am feeling pretty crummy. In fact, I do need to go out and take pictures tonight, and I'm not dreading it, but I'm also not as excited as I normally am to go take pictures, which is sad. But anyway, it is my job, so I do actually have to go do it. Thank you. Thank you for your well wishes, basically. But they say, love to hear your thoughts on the ZF, maybe a full review. Yeah, actually, a review is coming. I have the ZF out right now. It's one of the things that I will be taking tonight I'm actually going to go to the Desert Botanical Garden. There is a light installation right now, a whole light art installation that I'm excited to go see because it looks really neat. I will be taking that as well as the other Nikon gear that I have. I have the Z6 III and the Z50 II right there, as well as actually another TTArtisan lens. This is the 75mm f2. We're going to take that as well. Raymond's going to go with me and we're going to do some really low light photography. So yes, full review is coming, but my initial thoughts on that camera are everything that I wanted the ZFC to be when I borrowed that initially. I wanted it to be very much like the old Nikon film cameras, like my FM3A, very solid, very satisfying to turn the dials and stuff. And that camera just kind of didn't quite get there for me. It was it just wasn't quite, I don't know, it didn't have the weight that I wanted it to. This camera does. It has all of the satisfaction in turning the buttons and dials, and it has the weight to it that makes it feel more solid and more like a throwback to those film cameras that I so enjoy using. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Okay, next question. We're moving over to Instagram. Mancho33 says, hold on, I have to figure out where these are going. Okay, all along the edges. Mancho33 says, hypothetically speaking, if you were ever to sell all your equipment and keep only one camera, which camera would it be and why? Okay, dude, I don't know. All of the cameras are so good these days that it's tough to pick one. And I think if I were only to be allowed to have one camera, it would either be something super flexible, like what I'm shooting with now, the Lumix S5 II. It's a great all-around camera. I have all of the L-mount lenses that I could ever want because there are just so many from all the different brands. Or it would just be purely a camera that I really enjoy using and, that is really highly capable, like the Leica Q2, because I love using that camera. Or even the Fujifilm X100V or the newer X100VI, but I don't own that. It's such a difficult question. I am curious with you all, if you all could choose only one camera to shoot until the end of time, what would it be? Camera and lens, if you think of it, because I had to do it, so you have to do it too. Especially you, Mancho33. I want to hear from you. Let's answer another question. Tall Astronomer on Instagram says, how is your flight simulator training going? Great question. It's not. So I've been using Flight Simulator for quite some time, on and off, just, really casually, mostly Microsoft Flight Simulator. A couple of years ago now, I decided that I wanted to get my pilot's license. And so I started studying for that. I even started reaching out to some companies. I worked with Sporties on a couple of videos, got some gear from them and some flight simulator gear from them, all with the intention of really continuing on with flight training to get my private pilot's license. And then I injured my back. And 2 years later, almost to the day, it was 2 years ago that I injured myself, almost to the day. And I was unable to, I was bedridden for a while. So I really fell off. I mean, I was on pain medication, heavy pain medication for many, many, many months and on and off all of last year. So I couldn't study. I couldn't sit at the flight simulator station. You know, I had my first surgery. I thought things were getting better, so I started to get back into it. And then I had a recurrence. I had to get another surgery. This one was much more serious. And so anyway, the new flight simulator just came out. We downloaded it. Raymond has just started to play around with it, and he is telling me that the graphics are absolutely incredible. And you know what? Since you asked, tall astronomer, I am making the commitment that this weekend I am going to sit down at that computer at our flight simulator desk and actually get back into it, because, you know, I can sit now. I can sit up for longer periods of time. So I'm going to use it this weekend. Oh, that was a close one. All right, let's ask another question, or answer another question rather. This one is from Bird Brain Photography on Instagram. I love that name. They say, are you planning on checking out anything from Canon? They've been conspicuously absent from the channel over the years. Yeah, I have used Canon relatively a lot over the years, but you know, I've even owned a bunch of Canon cameras. Canon is great. I just don't have a contact with them at this point. Maybe I should reach out to them in the new year. Maybe I'll try to do that. If you are interested in me using Canon, what would you be interested in seeing me use? Is there anything in particular? Is there a specific type of photography that you're interested in seeing me do? Let me know, and maybe I can make that happen in the new year. All right, friends, we are nearing the end of the build, and I have a question from 1BS Ryan on Instagram. When you go on a hike with your equipment, what would you consider a light setup that would be appropriate for a weak back or a weight-sensitive situation? Good question. I've been focusing on that a lot myself lately. I have just been bringing less gear, lighter gear and less gear. That means sometimes my Leica Deluxe 8, that was the whole purpose of that camera, was so that I could bring it out whenever and wherever I went. Sometimes I do want more than that. So the main thing is that I just bring less gear, and just being comfortable that I made trade-offs. You know, that might mean that I just bring one body and one lens. And that lens might be a more compact lens like an f4 zoom instead of an f2.8 zoom lens. Or on the Z52, I actually requested the 18 to 140 f 3.5 to 6.3 kit lens. So there's another kit lens that is smaller and that I do own on my Z30, and it is just a much shorter mid-range zoom. So, you know, I might be comfortable with this. The kit lenses these days are so good that I don't feel that there's a huge trade-off like there kind of used to be with kit lenses, with these variable aperture zoom lenses. You know, we don't have the trade-offs that we used to have, because cameras and lenses are just so much better than they used to be. We are living in amazing times. So I might make that trade-off to either a variable aperture zoom lens or a f4 zoom lens instead of an f2.8 zoom lens. Or I might bring a couple of prime lenses, like say a wide angle prime lens, like around 24 millimeters, you know, equivalent field of view, whatever that is for the sensor size. And maybe that's it. Or maybe I will also add on something like maybe a slight telephoto kind of lens, like this TTArtisan 75 millimeter f2 lens. We have this in Z mount. They do make it in other things. Or an 85 millimeter lens, or there's a Sigma 90mm contemporary lens. I used that years ago, and I had borrowed it, and I really, really liked it. And I've actually thought about that lens a lot since then. I think I borrowed the 24mm contemporary prime lens and the 90mm contemporary prime lens at the same time. And I remember thinking that it was just such a nice combination, making these trade-offs and just being comfortable with the fact that there are shots I'm going to like see but not be able to get because I'm carrying a lighter weight setup, and just being comfortable with that is kind of the name of the game. Well, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen. I'm loving it. I can't believe it took me so long to use this. Oh my God, you can see through it. Oh my gosh, you can actually see through the viewfinder. I mean, it's plastic. But that is adorable. I am truly in love. It comes with even little pictures, little Polaroids that you can put in there. Like so. Look, and pretend that you're getting a camera. I know, you don't have to shake it, but still, it's still fun. Reminds me of my childhood. I never had a camera like this, and neither did my parents, but I always wanted one. So I sort of have one now. Those are all the questions that I have, and I have been sitting here for a very long time. I hope you enjoyed the sped up process of me building this, because I've been sitting here for certainly over an hour. And yeah, I had a great time. Thanks for building this Lego set with me. Thank you for your questions. It definitely gave me quite a number of ideas for going into the new year. If there's anything else that you all would like to see in the new year, let me know. I think I might do a video where I kind of wrap up the year and look forward into next year. So this is kind of a sneak peek at that. And like I said, if you have any suggestions, let me know. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.